Boker Tov, Bruchim Habayim. We are continuing on Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim, Hilchot Shabbat, and we are studying the halachot of Kiddush, Siman Resh Ayin Aleph. We are up to Seif Yud Gimel. Sarich lishtot mikos shel Kiddush kimlo lugmav. The minimum that you have to drink from kos Kiddush is melo lugmav. Melo lugmav is about half a revi'it. It's around between 40 and 45 cc's grams of wine. It's not that you have to have at least a revi'it. It's not like that. Te'ima is sufficient. This is actually the Bet Yosef brings this in Hilchot Milah out of all the sugyas in Yoreh De'ah from a Tshuvot HaRashba that you don't have to have a revi'it. Te'ima ba'alma is sufficient as well. Dehainu kol shemesaleko letzad echad bepiv ve'yira'eh melo lugmav. What that means is when you put the wine that's in the content of wine in your mouth in one side, it looks like a cheek full of wine. This is the majority of the revi'it. So if revi'it is 86 grams, right? So 44 grams already would be considered the majority of that, and that would be sufficient. So that's the amount that you have to drink after having said the Kiddush on your Kol Shel Yayin. And the Chafetz Chaim over here writes, "The ba'inun shiur chashuv shityashev da'ato al lideh." You need an important shiur. It doesn't have to be revi'it, but you need the majority of revi'it. Now this is by Adam Benoni. A regular person's mouthful, a cheekful, would be that much. אבל באדם גדול ביותר בשערים כמלוא לוגמיו דידה. A larger person, we need it. It's kind of like subjective. It's not like shiurin halacha Moshe misinai. This is something that is more subjective. So therefore, we need a cheek full of this larger person, which was going to end up being more than the amount by a regular Benoni individual. So it says the Shulchan Aruch, if the person who says the Kiddush did not taste kimlo lugmav, he didn't have this 44 grams, 44 cc's of wine, but somebody else around the table did, yatsa. That's also sufficient. It doesn't have to be, because you're saying it for everybody. So everyone is yotze. It's as if they say it themselves. It's shomea ke'oneh. And therefore, if one of them had kimlo lugmav, we're good to go. Ve'en shtiyat shenayim mistarefet limlo lugmav. But you can't say, well, this person had 22 cc's, the other person had 22 cc's, and subtotal is 44. That doesn't, you can't add up people together. One person has to have a minimum amount of milo lugmav to be yotze, the chiyuv of Kiddush. Umikol makom, says the Shulchan Aruch, mitzvah min hamuvchar sheitamu kulam. It is a mitzvah min hamuvchar that everyone should have a taste of the Kiddush. Now, why is that? Why is that? The two reasons. You see people around the Shabbat table, they are very specific to have a taste of the wine. And in shuls even, you have the small cups that they give around and so on. There are two reasons for having a taste of the wine by Kiddush. One is chibub mitzvah, because you want to show that the mitzvah is dear to you, is beloved to you. You want to have a part in it. But there's a very technical halachic reason also. You know, there's machloket whether or not hamotzi is going to cover the drinks during the Suda that you have. So you say hamotzi and you're going to have a cup of juice, cup of water, cup of Coke. Is that covered by hamotzi or not? Is machloket. Because we have machloket, we don't say bracha. We say safek brachot, la'akel sabal. Now, that is only b'di'evet. But if lachatchila, you could remember, the Mishna Berura says in the halachot of Suda that we had, that lechatchila, a person should sit for a moment before he washes netilat yadayim to say hamotzi, and should say a little sha'akol and a little cup of water and have a little tiny sip. And this way you covered the drinks that you're going to have during Seudah. That's lechatchila, midat chasidut. Chasidim do that. Now, if you say, Borei Pri HaGefen, wine, grape juice is king of all the drinks, right? So if you said Borei Pri HaGefen, you're covered from all the drinks during the Seudah. But that's only provided that you have at least a taste. If you didn't say the bracha Borei Pri HaGefen, he said, because he's saying Kiddush, and I didn't taste anything, that doesn't, I'm Yotze Kiddush. But as far as covering the drinks during the Seudah, I only am covered if I have a little drink. So therefore, tasting a little of the wine of Kiddush not only shows that you love the mitzvah, but it also covers you from all the drinks that you're going to have during the course of Seudah as well. So therefore, mitzvah min hamuvchar sheit'amu kulam. It's mitzvah that everyone should take a taste. Now, the Mishna Berura says, in the name of Magen Avraham, the Misha yesh lo yayin me'at mutav sheit'om echad k'shiur v'hamesubin lo yit'amu. Of course, this that people around the table should taste is if you have enough wine. If you don't have enough wine, it's better that the person that says the bracha should have enough of a taste of Melo Lugmav, and the other people should just sit around and be yotze with him.
But if you didn't drink, if you didn't taste it, even if you didn't taste, you don't make a bracha afterwards. Because you didn't taste the geffen.
Say bracha on what?
On the shak, on a drink.
You don't say because sabal, because it's safek b'achol lakel. Just get like a regular breakfast you're having at home, right? When you make hamotzi on a sandwich, do you say a thing on your tea or on coffee? No, you don't. Why sabal, right? But that's only, say the poskim, that's only b'di'evet. If you could be thoughtful in the beginning and cover yourself with saying a shakol before hamotzi, or in this case, by drinking a little sip of wine, and now you have your Borei Pri HaGefen that he said counts for you as well, so then you're covered. Fine. It says, the Shulchan Aruch, v'yesh omrim, this is only one shita, but there are those who say that the different people around the table's drinks, they are, the subtotal of them counts for them. V'yesh omrim, the kevan sheben kulam tamo kimlo lugmav yatzu, that if all of them together combined they had 44 grams kimlo lugmav, that also is sufficient. The shitiyat kulam mistarefet lekashiur, because they are added up actually together for a shiur of melo lugmav. V'hageonim sovrim, and the geonim hold she'im lo ta'am hamekadesh lo yatsa, that you need the person that says the kiddush to be drinking kimlo lugmav. In other words, there are three shitas. One shita holds that everybody around the table, they're drinking little sip, 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 adds up to kimlo lugmav. So if you had 10 people who drank each one of them 5 grams, you're good to go, right? At 50 cc's altogether, that's more than milo lugmav, you're good to go. The other shita is the first shita that Shulchan Aruch brings, that you need one person around the table. Doesn't matter who it is. Could be the person that said the kiddush, could be any other person. But one person has to have the entire shiur of kimlo lugmav of over 44 grams. And then the shita of the gonim is the most machmir, that holds no. Nobody else could do it. Only the person who said the kiddush, he is the one that should have one shot of kimlo lugmav of minimum of 44 cc's of wine, and that's the minimum requirement. V'ra'ui lachosh l'divrehim, says the Shulchan Aruch, you should be machmir like the shita of the geonim, v'davka bekiddush, but that's only by kiddush. Al b'shar devarim hateunim, cause by other places, like we mentioned before, by chasana, right? You're chatuna, the kos shel erusin, kos shel nisuin, by kos shel brit milah, all those, says the Shulchan Aruch, it is sufficient. Modim ha'geonim desagi b'teimat acher, that even tasting of another person would be sufficient. So for instance, we had an early Brit Milah the other day, and it was after the Netz Minyan, but some of the Gdolei Rabbanim in town were invited, and one of them was actually nitkabed to say the brachot and Kriyat Hashem. But he hadn't davened yet, because he's a Rav of a shul that has a later minyan, has davened with his own minyan. So he came to attend the Brit, say Mazal Tov, before he had even davened himself, right? So they give him the cup of wine. He can't have wine before Shaharit, right? For more than one reason. So what he did was, he said the bracha, he told somebody beforehand to have in mind to be Yotzeh, and they drank from it. Te'imat acher also would work. Again, this became a whole tumult there, a question of whether or not this was the right thing l'chatchila to do, not the right thing to do l'chatchila. But putting those discussions aside, this, by other issues that need a cup of wine, would be sufficient to have a different person drinking the te'ima. Now, Kiddush, if you said the Kiddush and then you start speaking, so you forgot to give wine to my mother, to my father, to one of the kids, and you, the Mekadesh, the one who said the Kiddush, has not yet tasted the wine, you have to go back and return to the beginning, say Borei Pri HaGefen. That's obviously if you well, my examples were not necessarily a good example because it's a minyan kiddush. If you spoke idle talk that's not related to kiddush, you go back and you have to say the bracha Borei Pri HaGefen ve'en tzarich lachzor u'kadosh. But you don't have to say the bracha of kiddush of mekadesh Shabbat again. You already said it. Vehu adin im nishpach hakos kodem sheitom. Same halacha would be if you said kiddush and before you got the chance to put it to your mouth, someone knocked over the entire cup, and now you don't have wine in the cup. You have to pour another cup. Now you will say again, Borei Pri HaGefen, but you don't necessarily need to say the bracha of Kiddush. You were Yotze with the bracha of Mekadesh Shabbat that you said. Fine, so we're going to stop here. B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to pick this up in the next